Good. Let's get it going. I couldn't think of any other St. Louis artists though. I mean, I was a Nelly guy back in the day, man. I can't help it. I can't help it. Country Grammar was my shit. I was a Rams fan. I wanted to be in St. Louis back when I was a kid.
Air Force One.
Who could ever forget, bro? Who could ever forget? Welcome to part 2 of tonight's broadcast. Technically, our third show tonight. We started at 6 o'clock with Washington County Flag Football Live Season 1. There we go. There's the audio. There's Chrome screwing up. There we go. Thanks, Chrome. Anyways, man. What kind of setting is this? What kind of setting is it where like you mute it and then you hit full screen and then it starts playing the sound again?
One of those weird things that don't make any sense.
Facebook can be on its janky bullshit like usual.
You like that?
You know how it goes, Rosser. Anyways, anywho, we already talked about your weekend. Let's talk about what's to come by going and taking a look at the B bracket results from this past Nationals. Let me say this. One of the things that I emphasized this year in my coverage leading up to Nationals was the idea, and if anybody's trying to join in on tonight's broadcast, the link is in the chat. Go ahead, click it, join it if you want. We're here to talk B bracket and only B brackets, so please don't come on here telling me about your KFFL team or anything like that, please. So please take it serious. Let's get it going. Taking a look at the recap. You know, for B, the one thing we were talking about was the quote-unquote region wars because, you know, B bracket flag football was very regional last year. The only true close thing you get to a B tournament was probably Clash of York. Other than that, though, everybody was pretty separated all year for the most part. And coming to this Nationals, I had set up 6 different regions for this tournament. And the 6 regions were as followed. OMFFL, which consisted of Renegades, Titans, FOE, AFN, and Rampage. The Northeast, which was Connecticut, Rhode Island teams. Beast Mode, Rhode Island Spartans, Riot Squad, 401 Pressure. Maffle, which was Blackhawks, Riot Out. I put Elite Rebels in here because part of the team was on the WAC Rebel squad that was in Maffle, as well as Dream and hashtag Team Petty. St. Louis, we had the Pack, the Spartans, the Wolf Pack, and Show Me Football. Shout out to our TBT cousins, Preston and Skinny.
Yeah.
Show Me put up a pretty good fight this year. We'll talk about that in the recap. In the South, we had No Excuses, Birmingham Heat, Bahamas Lions, and of course, we had the tri-state region, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. That was Baez Auto, Blazers, Nomads, and the Ducks. So that's how we split up the regions. Let's take a look at the results. First game off the gate, Renegades 31, Beast Mode nothing. What a statement by the Gades. They came out firing on day one. They came out ready to roll. I had said it here weeks ago. This was the number 1 team. Sup, Mike G, how you doing? Entering the power rankings, entering this tournament. They, in my opinion, were the best B team coming in. And they made a strong case over the weekend for being a top 5 team. Like, they balled out. It started out with this game, 31-0. Renegades over Beast Mode. OMFFL beats the North. Big win on that one. Next one, Blackhawks 13, Rhode Island Spartans 6. Didn't get a glimpse of this one, but, you know, Tommy Lightfoot and company always coming out there. They play some tough games. This one was no exception. Maryland Titans 27, St. Louis Pack 6. Man, Maryland Titans, they brought out Doc at quarterback.
I sure did.
Doc, 55-year-old Doc, came out and played quarterback.
Yeah.
After Math let him go, a lot of people were speculating, like, what did Doc have left in the tank? Was this it? Because, Doc is doing something that guys his age, most guys his age can't even get out of their chair most days.
Right.
He's out there, he's taking hits, he's running around, he's throwing the ball. Doc is tough, he's resilient. He was a big key addition to this Titans team. And, shout out to what Locke had to do there. Locke stepped out of the quarterback position. He let Doc take it over. Locke told me himself he brought Doc onto the team. And, it takes a lot to do when you are the quarterback already. But, it was a big move for the Maryland Titans. We got a lot of praise, or at least I got a lot of praise for the Maryland Titans this weekend. We'll get to that a little later. Next game, St. Louis Spartans, 14, Renegades, 7. Man, oh, man, oh, man. The St. Louis Spartans in this tournament were absolutely balling. Like, this was the start of it. This was their first circuit game ever. They had to face the number 1 team in the B power rankings.
That's crazy.
The Renegades, yeah. And, nobody knew what they were. Nobody had faith in the St. Louis Spartans. But they came out there, they beat the Gades, and began one hell of a run this past weekend. Absolutely crazy, bro. Oh, my God. We'll get to that a little later on. Next game, no excuses. 18, Blackhawks 7. No excuses. They were making their circuit debut. I think this was a bit of an ambush, a bit of a surprise. Lightfoot and the Blackhawks, they were settled in, but they didn't know what to expect from No Excuses, but No Excuses came out there. They gave them a fight. They beat them in the end. 18-7 the final there. Next game, Ducks over FOE, 20-13. That was a really good game between those two squads. Very competitive. FOE, a lot of people weren't really thinking much of FOE coming into this tournament. They're kind of a mid-tier OMFFL team, but they came out and played really well this past weekend. Really good performance by FOE. Took the L here, but they bounced back. Next game, Beast Mode 12, AFN 6. Beast Mode, bad first game, much better second game, but you got to wonder for the affiliates, another loss here. The losing streak is up at this point to 5 straight circuit games in a row. This is a team who hasn't had a circuit win, and we'll get to the affiliate nation momentarily. We're going to talk about a lot of teams in this. We're going to try to get some people on as well. If anybody does want to call in and talk some B bracket with me, the link is in there. I got a couple people I'm trying to get to join. We'll see if we can get them involved. It's going to be awesome tonight. We're talking B bracket ball. And what was a great tournament all around. Really appreciated everybody who came out this past weekend. As we continue to recap, let's get back on it. Baez Auto 21, Rhode Island Spartans 12. Baez came out, a lot of people were saying they were one of those teams you just don't want to sleep on. And they showed why, man. Baez, they're the OG of York 9-man. And, they have the whole city to pull from. The best, some of the best of the best came down here from York, and they played well like usual. Good win over the Spartans to start it out. And, for Baez Auto, it was the beginning of a really good weekend for them. The last couple months, like we said, with Baez, a lot of people were debating if they were done once Gusto Land came onto the scene. Was Gusto Land going to take their spot as the team in York? Well, right now, Baez, they had a good run in this tournament. Gusto sat at home. I think they got a grasp on their city again. Now they have to conquer the rest of the country. Rideout 1, Riot Squad 0. This game was called as a fight broke out between both sides. Riot Squad was disqualified for the fight, and the record books is a 1-0 win for Rideout. Not much to really say on this one. It's a shame it came down to that way. But it's high heat, high emotions. You got guys coming from different regions in the country. They don't click well with other guys from different regions of the country. It's a tough game, man. Emotions get the best of people. Blazers 22, Nomads 18. This was a dog fight. This was a great game from start to finish. Really enjoyed watching the stream on this one a little bit. Excuse me there. I hate coughing on air, but you know how it be. But this is a really good game. Battle between two top 5 teams coming in for my power rankings. Really good game overall. Blazers, Rob Lane and company, they came to play. This was the battle in New Jersey. This was one of the rare region on region games. But the Blazers, they're showing they're the best in New Jersey. Rob Lane, Deuce Dutch, good combination. We'll see where it goes going forward. But they got the win here, 22-18. Next game, NTB Wolfpack came out. They beat No Excuses 27-0. Yeah. Yikes. No excuses. Good first game of Blackhawks, but not a good follow-up in this one. Just not a good follow-up for No Excuses. Wolfpack gave it to them. Shout out to the Wolfpack. This was the beginning of a big statement they made this weekend. Next game, Rideout 6, Show Me Football 0. Show Me put up a pretty good fight in this game, man. Skinny and Preston were doing their homework on Rideout going into this one. They talked to me a few weeks ago on the show about how this was a big game of emphasis for them because they faced Rideout at last year's Nationals, and Rideout just gave it to them in that game, taught them a lesson. But as you see in this one, Show Me has kind of made strides over the last year. They're starting to get there. We'll see where Show Me can go in the next couple of years, but a way better outing this time around against Rideout. Big strides made since last Nationals. Next game that came up, Rampage 30, 410 Pressure 6. Yeah, this one wasn't even close. And the story of the weekend, the Northeast teams just struggled in this tournament. The Rhode Island, Connecticut teams, they just struggled. And this game was a good example of that. Rampage put it on the pressure. They gave it to them. This wasn't close. Big shout out to Rampage. Good victory there. Next game, this one was a good one. Elite Rebels 10, Baez 7. This was a good team. Rebels came out fighting. This is a good defensive battle. We wondered how TJ Holston and company would fare at their first Nationals. And they did really well. Like a big shout out to the Elite Rebels. Good win here for Baez. Good way to get the momentum going. Next game, Team Petty 7, Riot Squad 6. Yo, them Petty uniforms. You check them out?
I did.
Bro, Maddox would be gushing over them. He saw that stuff, bro. Like, even I liked them, dude. Those were some nice-ass uniforms. Petty looked really good this weekend. They really did. To start it out. Good win here for Riot Squad. Rampage 17, Birmingham Heat 7. All right. It's an all right game. Good win for Rampage. Heat got a bit of a score toward the end. Rampage, they had a really good run this weekend. We'll give a bigger shout out to Rampage as we go along here in this episode. Continuing onward, we go forward. Bahamas Lions 13, Team Petty 7. Bahamas last year, they didn't have a really good showing in Nationals.
Right.
The one game against the Canary Islands, I remember it was a 0-0 tie. And then against AFN, they lost 17-0. This Bahamas team, they came out against Petty and gave it to them. They got a big win over Team Petty here, and that helped propel them to Sunday. Shout out to the Lions, man. Like I said, this team made a lot of improvements from last year. Looking forward to seeing what they bring to the Nationals next year. It was cool to see them make day 3. 410 Pressure 13, Dream 12. Dream came out for the first time at Nationals. I heard that a lot of young bucks on that team, man. A lot of young guys. And they played pretty well in this first game, you know. Got to get the kids out there, got to teach them the game, get them going. You know, I saw some rumblings in the Maffle page that maybe a couple of guys might be leaving, but no, stay and build, man. I think make the dream come true because teamwork makes the dream work. Continuing forward, we get to Saturday, kicking it off. Nomads 12, AFN 8. Ross Collins, you had this game.
Which game is this? AFN?
AFN Nomads.
First game of the day.
Yes, sir.
Chase Sosa was tearing it up for AFN. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about it.
What was the biggest key to you in this Nomads win?
Better offense.
Just better offense?
I mean, they were better defensively too, but the biggest key was Nomad's offense against AFN's defense.
Yeah.
All AFN had was today, man.
Yeah, and you take a look at what they lost compared to last Nationals.
That was my takeaway.
Like, you lost to Haney, you lose Chico, you lose Fox. You still got to take Sosa, but you lost him at tight end. There's 4 weapons from your core receivers gone. AFN, you know, they kept it close all weekend. They didn't get their ass beat.
Right.
They weren't god awful. It wasn't like they had a 7-point kind of weekend.
Right.
But
they were there.
They're in the middle of the pack right now. They're kind of falling backwards. And we'll get to more on AFN later in the power rankings. We'll get some talk about it soon. Hopefully we can get someone on. Preston actually has joined in. We'll get Preston Shivers on right now, actually continue to recap with us. See if we get him on 100%. Just see a blank. I just see his name. Hopefully it's not a Boone situation. Refer more to the call in. See what we got. You, Preston. Says he's connecting. See if we can get him on. I'm going to continue talking for a moment. Next game that went down on Saturday, Baez Auto, 21. No excuses and nothing. No excuses dumped out of this little Royal Rumble. Just completely tossed out of the ring by Baez in this game. See if we got Preston. I'm trying to look at that. Says you're muted, or let's see. Pressing in your video on, has to start video, see if it comes up. There we go.
What's going on?
Preston.
How you doing, Joey?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I thought I missed the show. I was, I get up early in the morning for work, man. So I was asleep. I thought I missed you.
All good, man. All good. We got you on now. We're on Saturday, so you're right on time to talk about a little more. So let's move on to the next game. St. Louis Pack tied FOE 0-0. Ugh, that's an ugly one.
Man.
Did you get a chance to catch that one, Preston?
I was watching a little bit of that while I was filming the Spartans and trying to think who they were playing.
AFN.
Yeah, that one. I caught them while they were in the red zone. They were literally on the 5. I'm like, all right. I know they got somebody over there that can just kick it over the uprights. But for the game to end in 0-0, and for me to see them in the red zone, I'm like, I don't know what happened. I wasn't over there. That was I only filmed them once this year because of the scheduling. I didn't get them last year, so I wanted to make sure I get them this year. Gotcha.
And we'll talk about your game. You did cover Spartans 9, AFN nothing. your impressions on that game. Because you, Preston, a year ago, you called AFN and Wolfpack with me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, man, this ain't the affiliate nation you once knew.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm looking at, Tay Sosa. I was like, dang. Like, man, he was trying to do what he could with what he had. I don't know what was going on. I know most of those guys, I was talking to my man Ed Kwan, most of those guys went to Rampage. So I don't know what's going on out there in Baltimore with the affiliate nation, but that ain't the same guys.
I'll tell you, you lose someone like John Regan,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people will follow.
Okay, so he must be the guy. He's the glue that keeps it together.
Yeah, man, he's a big part of that, man. Regan was there from the beginning with the affiliates, and he leaves at the end of Nationals last year.
Well, what was I wonder where their quarterback was, Key Trail. Wonder where he was, because he was there. He wasn't even there this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the status of Trail. Last time we saw him was Washington County, and it wasn't a very good showing. But I think Trail was a little hurt there for a while. I don't know where he is. I didn't see him at Nationals this year, so maybe he's sitting out. Hopefully, we'll see Trail again soon. Always one of my favorite guys to watch. Heck of a player.
He had more command of that huddle last year, like as far as things not breaking down. Not saying Tay didn't. Not saying that he didn't, but it was a different look last year.
Yeah, way different look last year. You think about the weapon changes. You don't got Chico. You don't have Justin Fox. You don't have Dehaney. You don't have Ed.
That's the big deal right there. Dehaney. He was the big dog. And he was on the Rampage. I heard he was getting down. Skinny said he was doing some of their games. Well, he did their game. He was like, man, Dehaney, he was getting down. I'm like, oh, I remember him from last year. Big dog receiver.
Mm-hmm. We've known about Derek Dehaney for a long time. Former teammate of mine in the West Virginia Ducks many years ago. Okay. Absolute monster. But AFN, man, 0-3 on the weekend. They have lost 7 straight tournament games going back to last Nationals. Their last win was day 3, first game against Renegades. Yeah, and that was only a 1-point win. And even then, I looked at it, AFN, even at that Nationals last year, I wasn't very impressed at what was happening with the affiliates in Nationals last year. And, toward the end of 2019, you start seeing the beginning of the drop-off. Yes, they got to the Capital Classic semis, but they get donutted by Scorpions. Number 1 overall seed going into Nationals last year.
When I heard Beast Mode beat them, it was crazy. When I heard Beast Mode beat them, I'm like, damn, AC and them got you. I was like, wow. I'm like, man. And and AC doesn't really never have a deep team, Beast Mode. They bring enough guys and they compete. But Affiliate Nation always been, they always been deep. So that's why I was like, wow, when I heard that one.
It's crazy, man. It's just
they're missing that AFN shit talking the whole time intensity, I feel like.
The very team, Ross, that you faced many years ago when they first joined the Washington County Flag Football League.
We always played them well, too, because we like Smash Mouth football, too.
I remember that classic 2018 when your Warriors almost knocked off the affiliates in South High. Classic game. But AFN right now, they're not even that team anymore. It's not the affiliate nation of old. Like, they're still competitive, but they can't win.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a team that's regressing. I think we're watching the fall of the affiliate nation.
I want them to stick around. Hopefully they can I think what they'll need this year, which I know COVID with a lot of teams, hopefully they get some tournaments before Nationals to kind of get the swagger back, get some confidence built.
They need something, man, because right now it's just ain't what it used to be. It's just, don't get me wrong, I still see Tay, I still see Kezo, Ron Ross is an absolute warrior. He will go out and fight his ass off every single game. Cuzzo can't do it by himself.
We got a lot of love for this guy.
Tay can't do it by himself.
Mm-mm.
The D line can't do it by itself. They got to come together as a team.
Yes,
If they're
definitely.
going to continue to survive as a franchise. Moving on now, Wolfpack 13, Elite Rebels 10. You were on the Spartans game, so you didn't get a chance to see this.
No, I didn't
think
see that.
Jerome had that, or no, Ross, did you have that one?
What is it?
Wolfpack and Rebels.
Yeah, I had that.
You had that one. Okay, give me your thoughts on
That's what
Wolfpack
me and
Rebels.
Skinny met. He didn't even know it was me.
No.
What's up?
Well, I mean, nobody knows what you look like until they see you at tournaments.
Yeah.
Preston, he was like, "Hey, man."
I mean, some people thought you were Joey Blaze at one point.
That's true.
That's funny.
That was a good ass game, though.
Yeah, that seemed like a good ass game.
Probably one of my favorite games Saturday, honestly. That was a good game.
Yeah, like that looked like an absolute dog fight.
I didn't get a chance to see Elite Rebels at all. I was hoping to at least catch a glimpse of them. Because my thing is, like now, since Nationals went how it went, y'all let a brother jam with the film. Like, I'm going to try to film everybody now. I got to get everybody. Like, I want to know everybody in 9-man, at least almost everybody. At least one person from every team. I should know at least one person from every team.
Yeah, that's true.
Our goal is to get a jersey from every team.
That's what's up.
Going forward with this one.
Well, yeah, Nunu Jenkins balled out in that game.
Yeah, Nunu was a monster, bro.
He made a lot of huge plays for them to keep them in that game.
Yeah.
For Elite Rebels.
That's a name I'll look out for then next time I watch him.
Yeah.
Nunu Jenkins. Like we talked about Jarrett Foster earlier. Nunu is the same kind of beast monster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got mad respect for Jared. I watched him a lot. I was watching him this weekend. It was good to see him again. I haven't seen him in years since I played in Connecticut League, but it was good to see him. But I'll definitely be on the lookout for we said Nunu
Jenkins. Yeah,
Nunu
part of the
Jenkins.
Elite
All right.
Rebels.
Yeah, he
All
plays
right,
young
I'll look
guys.
out for him.
Yeah, he goes
All right.
both ways on the ball.
Real cool.
All right.
Real cool.
Next game, FOE 20, Maryland Titans 14. Little OMFFL battle, very competitive game from the looks of it. I don't know if either of you got that. Did you?
Nuh-uh, I didn't get that one. I didn't get FOE at all. I wanted to.
Yeah, they had a good performance this weekend. That's the best FOE's ever looked from what I've seen. Like I was kind of thinking they were more of a middle of the road team, but they came out this weekend and they played absolutely good football.
I didn't get a chance to see Keith either. I wanted to, he put that team together. He was like, "Hey, I'm about to go ahead and just do it." I'm just, I read a lot between the leagues, so
yeah,
I pay attention.
Ross, did you have FOE Titans? Or was that during the court situation?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your impressions on that
Same
game?
thing, Doc. But the problem was he had a lot of drop balls.
Yeah. Doc could sling it.
There was a lot of drop balls.
Fun fact, Preston.
Mm-hmm.
Doc, Titans quarterback, is 55 years old.
Yeah, I heard about him.
Still playing
Skinny
on a
was
high
telling
level.
me about him. He said he's still out there. That's why I tell some of these young guys, I'm like, "Hey, man, we got guys in their 50s out here still getting it done." So,
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like, what? I don't know what it is, but a lot of these quarterbacks in their 40s and 50s, they're great to watch right now.
Yeah.
Like we talk about the ones who stand out, Chris Boone, Greg Proctor, Lonzel, Mike D, Doc, like all those older guys, they come out, they play their ass off. Like
They just know how to win.
yeah, that experience will take you a long way. Next game, Renegades 22, Nomads 6. This was a surprise game. I didn't think that the Gades would blow them out the way they did. Because Nomads, there was a little bit of hype around them. Jerome was giving them a lot of praise. I was giving them some praise going into this tournament. But
they've always showed up. They've always, like from the history from the past, you know, they've always showed up. And maybe, I don't know what happened this year.
Just tough bracket, man. I mean, you get the Blazers, you get the Renegades. That's the number 1 and number 2 team in the power rankings going into this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of those luck of the draw. And for the Nomads, they didn't have any luck this year. And they were close to going 0-3. They had to play AFN, and that went down to the final drive. Like, just a very disappointing weekend for Nomads, but you can't fault it to anything but a tough schedule. But yeah, that being said, not a good ending and against Renegades. Just not a good way to go down. Next game, Blackhawks 10, NTB Wolfpack 7. Wolfpack's only loss this weekend was against Blackhawks. So, I'll tell you, Tommy Lightfoot and company will sneak up on you.
They did that game. They had some bigs that could move too, like they tight end and another big, like dude's guy. I'm like, man, this dude look like he should be on the line. Like he was on the line, but he can run out and catch and he can move. He was throwing them in routes. It was working across the middle. That's how they got him the first time. But seeing the result from the second game, they didn't even score. So shout out to NTB making the adjustments.
Yeah, and we'll get to that second game in a moment. But, like I said, Lightfoot and company, they just sneak up on you. You never know what's happening. Wow, Chris, looks like it says Chris Head, 3 touchdowns called back. Damn, that's rough.
There was a lot of, honestly, and it's not just with us complaining overall, because when I did some A games, a lot of the refereeing was piss poor. I mean, by their standards, I felt like it was cool, but a lot of guys were complaining.
It's the thing about, and the toughest part is, that's what you got for the weekend. You got to be careful of arguing with referees and stuff like that too. Like, you never know what you're going to get with each referee week to week.
And they're all from different regions, so that's another thing. And they're all trying to come together for a tournament, So
yeah,
I'm glad we had. We had what we had. Can't complain too much.
The refs take a beating, boy.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing right.
I'll tell you, the refs can always know how to dish it back out.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Hey, Zarek was doing it in the A games. He was, hey.
Shoot. I know Zarek got me off the field.
So
users himself over here.
How to keep you all fed, how to keep you all hydrated. I care about my guys.
Well, we appreciate that. Definitely.
Thank you. Next game, moving on. Ducks 18, St. Louis Pack 8. Did you get a chance to catch this one, Preston?
I did not catch him. I wanted to look at that Ducks team, though, just because of that. Aren't they in the Long Island Flag Football League?
Long Island, yeah. They're based out
of How many teams are in that league?
I don't know much about their league. That'd be Jerome Russo's field. He's from Long Island.
Okay.
Ross, I think you were supposed to have this game.
That was the cord issue.
That was the cord game. Yeah, for those who don't know, we got a new phone like literally a week before Nationals because we've been literally sharing the same phone for filming for the last year. When we do our stuff.
We use mine, but mine's cracked and the battery doesn't last.
And we got to raise our standards and get off Facebook standards.
So we tried to do that, but we didn't have enough cords, but we got plenty now.
Yeah, we're good to go now. We're good to go going forward. But I had an ordeal there. Did you get to the end of it, Ross, at least? Did you catch anything?
But by the time I was loading it up, it was over. So I was like, moved on.
Yeah, you might as well move on.
I tried. Sorry, Ducks.
Sorry, Ducks. We tried. And the Pack.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Next game, St. Louis Spartans 6, Beast Mode nothing. Spartans defense, man. That defense is tough.
I played against a lot of those boys for many years, man. I like seeing them how they brought that together this weekend. Looked real good.
They did a great job, man. Like, and you think about it, like offensively could get going in this game, but the defense, they didn't hold up. They fought really hard. You look at some of these scores: 0 points allowed against AFN. You take a look back, 7 against Renegades. Going into day 3, this was a team that was surrendering 2 points per game.
They do this back at home, though. Like, they do it back at home. They went undefeated the regular season this past season. They get a lot of wins. They've been getting a lot of wins for a while. I've told Jared 2-3 years ago to do this, but he felt like, this was the right time. So I commend him for doing it.
Yeah, man. Like, I got to give him a lot of credit. This was an excellent performance. And I don't think anybody outside of the Lou had any idea what this team had to offer.
A lot of guys don't know Big Jared can move too, if given the opportunity to get the ball in his hands at that size.
Yeah, absolute fact, man.
So,
moving on to the next game, Elite Rebels 14. We'll call them the Bad Spartans 7. Talk about opposite weekends, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were to measure a scale of bad Spartans to good, I guess the bad would be the Rhode Island. In the middle would be the Tri-State Spartans. Shout out Don Brown. And
the Rhode Island Spartans are worse than the Tri-City Spartans?
I don't know, man. I think
Did they win a game, right?
I don't know. Rhode Island had a tough week. Like I've heard the quarterback's pretty good, but I don't know. I think Don Brown Spartans have a pretty good fight against the Rhode Island. He did say he thinks they could handle the St. Louis ones, but we'll see, big guy. Next matchup, Long Island Ducks and the Titans tied at 7. I hate ties.
Yeah, it's not a loss, but, it just helps your point differential. I mean, not your point differential, your winning percentage.
It does give you some help, but it's like, as a fan, it's like, what a cop-out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just disappointed. Can't really say much about that game. So we're going on to the next one. Blazers 21, Dream 8. I
wanted to watch Dream. I didn't get a chance to see them.
I didn't either, man. I haven't had a chance to catch them yet, and I've been to like 2 different tournaments they were in. But I heard they got a lot of young bucks, as I said earlier, a lot of young guys coming in. We'll see where they go going forward. Ross, did you have this game by chance, or did you have the Heat pressure game?
I had Heat pressure.
All right, so 13-7 Heat over pressure. Your thoughts, Ross?
That was a pressure, same thing. They're a lot of young guys. But I got to tell you, they had a lot of heart. And Heat seemed like kind of the opposite. Not by heart-wise, but they seemed like kind of the older guys,
Yeah.
And it was a good game. I enjoyed that game. That's probably one of the more fun ones I did. The Heat had, what the hell was his name? Money Mike as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He was a funny dude. He was a funny dude. It was a good game.
So Heat over pressure. Big shout out to the Heat. Moving on to the next one. A game that you, Preston, were part of. Team Petty 14, Show Me 10. So we talked about the ride-out game earlier. A year ago, you and Skinny were saying, like, they gave it to you guys last year where you played ride-out for the first time. Much different game in the rematch.
Mm-hmm. That might be the new rival, man. We might see him again next year. I'm just saying. We might make sure we had him on the schedule.
I would like to see it, man. Anything to see DC and St. Louis face off.
Yep.
Your thoughts on the Team Petty game, perhaps?
Man, I tried to do what I can on my end. I'm only one guy. We all collectively did what we could do. Still some missed calls, some missed plays. It was tied 7-7. Like we were down, then we tied it up, and then we took a lead. I kicked a field goal. We took a lead, and I'm like, all right, pretty much, guys, let's finish this game. And I don't know, it slipped away offensively. So I know what I got to do right as far as coaching, but I'm playing too, so that's something I got to do. I'm making sure I'm gonna get a coach for the next tournament from here on out, because I know I can't play and coach, so I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared on my end.
It's very difficult to play and coach. Ross, you can relate to that. Your experience in the Warriors.
Pain in the ass.
Man, it is. It is, and you can't see everything. That's the main thing.
Yep.
It's impossible. You can have eyes everywhere. It's still impossible.
Yeah. I would like to see a Warriors show me football game, though. That'd be pretty tight.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to the next game, we had Blazers 7, Rampage 3. I don't really have much on this one. Looked like it was a really freaking awesome game. And I think Israel has it. That's the good news. Israel Velota, shout out to him, man. Israel's great filmmaker. He does a great job of his work. I love his stuff.
I got to meet him.
Very, very nice guy, too. He's one of the nicest guys you'll come across in the circuit. He has high quality film, and he's just great. Like, he helped out last year of our Nationals documentary. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has footage-wise this year. But, Blazers 7, Rampage 3, a lot of us were looking forward to this matchup. It was a pretty good game. Lived up to the hype of what it should have been. Like I said, shout out to both squads. This was a dog fight. Next game, we continue on. Riot Squad 18, Show Me Nothing.
Hey, that one, AJ, came with it. I told my guys, I was like, this dude's an unorthodox dude, man. I played with him before. He get down. And, just weren't ready for it. Back to the drawing board with that one. That was like our only tough loss this past weekend, I feel like. I felt like the other two were winnable games.
Yeah.
From the Show Me squad, anyway.
Yeah, no, you guys did really well this weekend, I felt like, for your second year in Nationals?
Yes, sir.
Like, you guys made significant strides from where you were a year ago.
And we were trying to go to a tournament in between, Nationals, just so we can get more familiarity with the circuit and all of that. And that's definitely the plan this year.
Where are you guys thinking about traveling?
We just saw March is available, so I'm talking to the guys right now. I told them I'm coming regardless, so I want the team to come. I'm gonna come jam with you. We do the film thing, but I want the team to come, definitely. Just depends on COVID regulations and how, if they're gonna do late March or middle of March.
I'm looking for what Jamie says. They're looking at St. Patrick's Day week.
Yeah, that's usually that's the normal time they have it.
Yeah.
The 17th would be right around my birthday.
So right around Ross's birthday. Hey,
Okay.
Celebrate the big 3-2 anywhere we gotta go. Maybe at the Lou.
Hey, we have a big Irish background here, so you guys come out here around that time, shoot. Nothing but drinking, man.
If you got a big Irish background, we gonna drink. Carrying on to the next one, we had Dream 8, Birmingham Heat 7. No one really saw this one, not much to write about. Dream had a nice little ending, though. They got a victory to end their run in Nationals. A lot of positive momentum going forward. As for the Heat, took an L in this one, but they still managed to get to day 3. So, not a total loss for the Heat, just like a little disappointment. It affected their seeding heavily, though, as they dropped to the 16th seed and had to play the Spartans to start day 2. or day 3 rather, as we continue to the next game. Right out 13, Bahamas Lions, nothing. Ross, you had that game. What were your thoughts?
It was good. The Lions, they're kind of flat. The early line was getting chewed up by David Butler. DB was tearing them up like he usually does.
I mean, we talk about Nunu, we talk about Jarrett, David Butler, man.
DB.
Okay, that's another one.
Goes by DB.
You faced him actually 94 for ride out on the D line.
Okay.
Yeah, like absolute monster. We saw it firsthand up here in Washington County. I saw it on the circuit. Like absolute beast is David Butler. This ride out team came to play against Bahamas from the sound of things. That defense dominant, man.
I think that's a rematch from last year because they were in our pool last year. Bahamas and ride out. So that ride out Bahamas, I think they played each other last year.
It might have been the year prior because I think because this is there's 2 Bahamas teams. There was the last year there was Bahamas Elite and there was
Bahamas
also
Lions. I think it's Bahamas Lions is the other one.
No, it was the BFFL Predators who this is so okay. It is kind of confusing because this is actually the Predators team I think from last year.
Okay.
And they had played AFN, Canary Islands, and Combined Forces. I think Elite played Rideout. So now maybe it's a merger or a mixture. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with what happens in the Bahamas with their flag stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can see more media from them soon. Hope to see Bahamas playing again, man. I really like those guys. They're really nice people when you get a chance to talk to them.
They're very giving. Like the first year I came down there, they gave I was on the pack team. They gave everybody a shirt. I still have the shirt. It's a brown Bahamas shirt. I still have it. I said I'm gonna wear it when I go out there, but I'm gonna eventually get out there.
Oh, that's lit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Moving on now. We hit day 3, gentlemen. Let's take a look at day 3. We had some rematches on day 3. First off, Baez Auto 18, Elite Rebel 7. Baez came to play in this one. They got revenge. They came out. They got revenge on the Elite Rebels. I didn't get a chance to see him either. Baez, like I said, one of the better teams out there. One of the teams no one talks about. York is a big flag football market. John Urey told me they have 900 players in YAFFL alone in that city of York. And half that amount at their Hanover location.
That Baez Dust Atlanta up in New York was still one of my favorite games to film.
That was a classic. Baez and Gusto. I didn't forget that one. But Baez, they beat the Rebels here. They shut down TJ Holston and company. Great physical dog fight between the two of them. Really good game overall. Shout out to Baez Auto. They advanced to the next round. Elite Rebels, the Rebels are a team that we've kind of looked at for a while now. I've had my eye on them going back to the BC Elite days. They got to Charm City in the Final Four 2019. Got to the Final Four in York 2019. They got to the Elite 8 against Aftermath and Clash of York 2. Holston always comes out there and balls, but this time around, not enough against Baez, but a really good showing for their first nationals.
That Baez team is good, man. I felt privileged. Like I said, I felt privileged to record them, and I do plan on making an appearance in York, Pennsylvania this year. Go check out the league play.
I'll tell you, YAFFL, they do a lot of good work up there. John Urey, Brandon Dietz, Donald Gentry. They got a nice community up there in York. I think you'd love it, man. We're going to have some York action coming up this spring. YAFFL, looking forward to it. They don't got 9-man yet. They're working their way to it. 8-man Poppers is the big thing up there. They play with Poppers in their 8-man.
Okay.
And in fact,
which is awesome.
We'll go ahead and say it. We will have a YAFFL tournament coming up in late March. One Talk Media will be covering it. We'll have details later. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing Baez Auto on the field, man. Those guys always come ready to play.
Yeah.
Next game on the list, we had Wolfpack 17-0 on the Blackhawks. What a turnaround.
It's all about adjustments, man. Adjustments and dominating at the line of scrimmage, imposing your will from the snap of the ball. That's what you got to do. That's what they did. They realized Tommy wasn't like, they saw what he did the day before, and they're like, yo, he ain't gonna beat us throwing this thing downfield. So we about to apply pressure, and you see the result. And it all came together too, because you see the special teams was in the mix there.
Yeah.
The 3 points, need everything. As a fellow kicker, you know, you need everything in these types of games, especially on money day.
Definitely on money day. Kicker is key. Move on to the next game. Rampage over the Lions, 20-0. This, you know, Bahamas, they had a pretty good fight in them, but just it's a tough draw. Sunday morning, Rampage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This Rampage team came to play. They gave it to the Lions. This wasn't close at all. But I got to give it to the Bahamas, man. Way better effort than last year. They're making strides. They're trying to build 9-man down there. It's tough. They're not in a region where football is played historically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to see the big linemen on the A bracket in the Bahamas. They got
some
guys.
big boys down there, though.
They do.
They got some big dudes. They probably just don't have the footwork. You got to get somebody down there to teach them.
Yeah, that football
teach them fundamentals. You teach these guys fundamentals. That's why I was saying, I think they used to do a Bahamas tournament like around October, or September, October. If they still can get that going, I would love to go out there. I know it's tough because it's across the Atlantic, you know, and a flight probably isn't cheap, but I think we can make it happen, man, in the coming years too.
I, for one, if they made the offer, I would love to go to the Bahamas for a tournament.
Right.
I can't
Very
think of
relaxing.
a way to be. And you know, I've seen their league does cover. You know, like down there, it's all state funded. They got a good setup.
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh yeah,
that part I didn't know that. I didn't know it was state funded.
State funded, yeah, and broadcasted on both website and television.
Okay.
Yeah, really good stuff coming out of the Bahamas. Next game, St. Louis Spartans 28, Heat 7. Didn't get a chance to get this one, but Spartans, big time performance to start the day. They killed the Heat, man. The Heat just had nothing in this game. Spartans gave it to them from start to finish. Big shout out to what they did on this one. I don't know if you got this one or not, Preston. I was up on the Rampage field.
No, I did not get this one. I was currently charging up, but while I was in the car, I was like gradually looking over there. And I wanted to film Birmingham just because anybody from somewhere else, like especially a region that's not really familiar with 9-man, I'm more intrigued to film them and get them exposed. Just
Skinny had the whole game. Skinny, hop on if you can. If you can talk about some stuff. I know you got some good looks. Looking forward to seeing his film. We got a lot of film to cut too.
Yeah.
Man. You was just talking about that. Like it's so much footage, man. And like I say again, I appreciate everybody supporting and loving it, and
last year we had for last year's Nationals, it was a documentary. For this year's, I feel like it's about to be a mini series.
Oh yeah, let's get it, man.
Looking forward to
it. It's going to that level now.
Yeah, the game has changed. Next game I had Renegades 14, Petty 7. This was a weird ass game, bro. Jaleel, every play, it would either be it was like a rotation. One play, he threw it in a completion. Next play, it was a touchdown. Next play, it was a pick. I don't think the Renegades had more than 15 plays in that game on offense. Petty held the ball for most of that game, but they couldn't capitalize on anything. Like they just
I wonder if Petty ran that full house formation.
Oh my God, dude. Oh.
Nothing wrong with it. It's you got the right athletes, it can work, but you know.
That was the thing with Pressure too. I forgot to say that in that Pressure Heat game.
Yeah.
Pressure was young and they were running some like 11-man like I formation.
They ran the I formation?
They were, dude, you gotta go back and watch that game. I'm about to tell you that.
They
ran some weird flag formations, bro.
So they were running the old Survivors I formation from like when I first coached.
Like off. You gotta go back and watch that.
Yo, nothing's crazier than watching a program do that in county this past season. Like when they were busting out the I formation and running.
They were getting yards off of it too.
They were. That's the crazy thing. You know, you can get if you run something like that, you can throw a lot of teams off.
Yeah.
Like
you can.
Yeah,
especially an inexperienced team.
Yeah,
just think oh man, we don't know what they're doing, and then you just slam the door on them with it.
I mean, we did have the Green Machine when we played them back in September. We ran a wing T offense against them and went 94 yards in the opening drive.
Yeah. We did do that, didn't we?
We did. Had a wild year. Oh, man. Continuing forward, Ducks 14, FOE 6. Didn't get a chance to see this one, but I got to give it to FOE, man. I never really looked much on them because, you know, they seem like a middle-of-the-road OMFFL team. Not much to really write home about when it came to them. But this weekend, FOE played their asses off. Like, they played tough. They played hard. Like, they came to play at this Nationals. They were ready.
They talk their shit.
I know that's a good showing for DC, right?
OMFFL in their case.
No, OMFFL. Okay, no, Baltimore.
Yeah,
so I'm sure it's a good showing for Baltimore.
Yeah, we'll get to that momentarily when I reveal the final standings for how each region did. But carrying on to the next one. Spartans 13, Baez Auto 7. This was a dog fight. Another dog fight, bro. Spartans and Baez.
And I like that quarterback. Walton is good. I like him.
Yeah.
He didn't fold under pressure. He kept on coming.
Yeah. No, like this was a really good game. Looking at it between these two. Like it was literally like watching someone face their literal cousin. Like they're so similar to each other. Spartans and Baez are. You know, like York and St. Louis, they're both cities. They both have a lot of players who play in their league. They got a lot of things in common that people don't realize. There's a lot of common players have in York and St. Louis on terms of playing this game. And so it was great to see those two teams clash. Next game, Blazers 19, Riot Squad nothing. This game was very slow early on. It was 0-0 at halftime.
I wonder what happened with that, just because I want to see the film. Just because I see what AJ be doing, you know what I'm saying? And I know he ain't a pocket passer, but, you know, but for what he does, it works for him. His style of play works. But I guess for them to shut him out, I know there's some guys on that Blazers squad that are familiar with him. They play in the same league over there in Connecticut. So maybe that had a lot to do with it, to where they just shut him out like that.
Riot Squad, their offense, I feel like struggled for the most part this weekend. Like their defense is playing lights out in that game, though. Like Rob Lane couldn't get anywhere in the first half of that game. Like they were shutting him down. But then in the second half, you know, him and Deuce made the adjustments they needed. They got better as it went along. Blazers got the win there. Shout out to them. This next game, this was a shocker.
Hmm.
Titans over Rideout.
Hmm.
I don't think. I'll tell you, for as good as the Titans are, I'm not sure many people had them beating Rideout here. A lot of people were saying Rideout was top 5 entering this tournament.
Rideout was vulnerable this in that top 5 ranking.
Yeah.
I'm not being biased. They was just vulnerable though, because they ain't go that far and they really like impose their will on nobody. I feel like they did us last year, but I know that was just because we were first year team. But you know, they looked a lot better last year, more complete. Now, I don't know if they got all their guys or some of their guys switch teams or anything like that, or maybe a different approach. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some just didn't feel right about this Rideout squad. Just not the same intensity that we're used to of Rideout. They got to day 3, but it just, like I said, this wasn't the Rideout I saw at Charge City when they won that. This wasn't the Rideout that got to the semis against Scorpions last year. Just something, just not a good weekend for them. You know, you look at the results. Yeah, they got some wins. They got the Sunday, but one and done, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the next one. We had Rampage over the Titans. This was a pretty good game. If you haven't watched this game yet, go back and watch it. Not because of the fact it's a good game, but because Skinny on commentary has some of the best stuff I've ever heard in my life, man. Skinny,
I'm gonna check it out.
Man,
I still haven't checked it out. I'm gonna check it out,
bro.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
I want to watch it tonight, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll fast forward past my stuff. Let's get to Skinny stuff because like Skinny was great on that. From him ragging on Tim Miller to everybody to bringing up me and wondering where I went. I don't think he realized. This was when I went and left to go pick up you, Ross, from Simmers Young.
Yeah.
And I think I told Skinny, I was like, here, cover the rest of this, and I'm going to go grab Ross, and I'll be right back, and I'll charge your phone. I don't think he realized Ross was about an hour away. Dude, I hit 10 red lights on my way up there. I was losing my shit trying to get up there, bro. Like, damn. But, like, good effort by the Titans, man. You know, shout out to Rampage. They got the win to get to the semifinals. But the Maryland Titans, you know, I've watched them for many years. They won Hagerstown 2016. Not much to say since then. But in this tournament, I feel like they made a statement. And, you know, I give Locke a lot of credit for letting Doc take the reins. That's a hard thing to do when you've been the guy for a long time like Locke has.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even, and you know, you give a shout out to Doc too. A lot of people were saying Doc was done when he was on Aftermath a couple months ago. A lot of people felt like when Aftermath let him go and they opted for Clancy instead for this tournament, that it was a sign that maybe Doc was done. But Doc may not be an A bracket quarterback, but he sure played like one this past weekend. He went and ran through the B and showed that old man still has a lot of new tricks to show.
I'm just be privileged to get to that age and still be able to ball, man. For real. Without barring any major injuries or anything like that.
I'd be privileged just to get there in general. That's a long ways away, man.
Yeah.
Next game, we got the Wolfpack over the Blazers. I think you had this game, Preston. Am I right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Very good game.
Your impressions on Wolfpack Blazers.
Good to see Rob Lane in action. Good to see Deuce Dutch in coaching action. You know, so one of my other boys, Michi, over there too. So it was good sight to see. They say they were a division team, and I don't know. I ain't see it. No offense. I ain't see it. So, they got my man Dale over there too. He was playing receiver. I didn't really see them like, Wolfpack, we don't, like I said, applying pressure. That was their whole motto the whole Sunday. But I did not see the Blazers. I would have thought they maybe would have brought a running back in, or maybe a 2 tight end set just to slow it down a little bit. But nah. And the one play I will say though, like the Blazers actually were shut out this game, but that one play, that's all it took. They had scored from basically like the 10-yard line on their own 10. It's like an 80, 90-yard touchdown pass on a drag route.
Damn.
So, yeah. So one play, I was like, damn. One play, they were like back in the game. I'm like, okay.
It's Rob Lane,
no
man.
pressure for the Wolfpack though, but it's just Rob Lane, one play though. That's all it took.
Moving on, I gotta say with Blazers, like a lot of people felt like they were the odds-on favorite to win B, simply for the fact that it's Rob Lane coming down from A. He's got the connections. He's brought in Deuce Dutch to coach. Dude, he's got a national championship. Like when you got a combination like that, and Deuce was telling me him and Rob go back a long ways to when Deuce first started out in flag. And, that connection, they did work this past weekend, but it's just surprising, man. They didn't get to the Final Four. This was my number 2 going into the power rankings.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but, you get a team like NTB, it's tough. That's a tough draw. It's always got the luck of the draw when it comes to these tournaments.
Heck yeah, it is.
Next game coming up. Renegades over the Ducks. Don't got a score on that one. I wasn't there for that one. I think I was coming back.
I was charging up around that time.
I know Skinny said I think Skinny was over there for a hot minute.
Okay.
But I also think someone else was covering it. I have no idea who the dude was, though. I never even see that name before my life.
Looks like the Ducks got some coverage.
Yeah, at least they got film. That's good. Final Four, Ducks. I think Ducks are still one of the better teams out there on the circuit. Like, despite this loss, you had a tough draw of Renegades in the quarters.
I've seen that Ducks team a lot at a lot of other tournaments, so I know they're seasoned. Like from what I've been like footage wise, I know they go to tournaments and stuff. So, and I know they're not no slouch in their league play.
Absolutely not, man. The Ducks, they're not afraid. They will come out and compete with anybody. Final Four. Spartans over Renegades, 27-6. This one was not even close. Jaleel picked off 4 times in this game. His first-year quarterback ends a disappointing ending. But, that Spartans defense was just tough all weekend. And in this game, they really shined. Either of you had that one?
Nope, that was a charging up period. I think the next 2 games
might have been Skinny.
I didn't get. Maybe Skinny got that one, but I didn't get anything until the championship.
All right, other game, Wolfpack over Rampage. I want to say that was 6-3. I think Tyler had that one, actually. That was a really good game. It's crazy to think. You look at it, we had a OMFFL versus St. Louis Final Four.
Yep. Baltimore versus St. Louis.
And, St. Louis victorious against Baltimore in both games. Yeah. Rampage, they fought their asses off. Tough game with them. But that was a dogfight with the Wolfpack. I can't wait to go back and rewatch that one. What a game between those two. Low scoring, old school flag football game.
A slobber knocker. That's what they call it.
Oh, it's more late. Okay, 12-3 was the final. My bad. So moving on now, championship. Preston, you had this one. Wolfpack Spartans. How did it feel coming onto that field, realizing that you were about to call an all St. Louis championship?
Emotions ran high, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It felt like, I'm like, dang, this is like, felt like we was in a big old stadium too. Like, and I wasn't even playing. Like, I felt like I was playing. I'm like, I ain't even playing. I'm just covering it. But emotions were running high. Like, it was really, really great. Felt like we was once the game started going, it felt like we was in St. Vincent, our old park back here at home. So, then you had guys chiming in on the live, and then it just had that feel. Then you had the music in the background. I'm glad Facebook didn't cut it. I made sure I said I do not own the rights to the music. So I'm glad they left it up there for us. But it was just awesome, man. Awesome. And just shows strength in numbers, man. At the end of the day, like, all right, we can come together, handle business, and then go home. Like, I ain't got to talk to you outside of this, but if we can come together for one common goal, that'll work out for us. And it worked out for both teams. Congrats to both of them. Just for putting the league it's like our league now is on the forefront because of that.
And that's something we're going to take a look at, the region breakdowns. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir.
You said at the beginning of the broadcast, we had 6 regions, OMFFL, the North, MAFL, St. Louis, the South, and the Tri-State. So let's go look at it. Finishing 6th overall was the North. That was Beast Mode, Rhode Island Spartans, Riot Squad, and the Pressure. They finished a combined 2-10 against other out-of-area opponents this weekend. Riot Squad, the only one to make it to day 3, just not a good showing for the North. I think Riot Squad and Beast Mode only ones who got wins in this one. Spartans didn't win. Pressure didn't win. Tough weekend for the North. 2-10. Your thoughts, Preston?
I'm actually, I know why. Because of wintry elements. It snows a lot, so it's hard to get out there and try to gel right before nationals. I know those guys play a lot of indoor, but it's not 9-man. More so it'd be for your receiver skill players. Yeah, receiver skill players, defensive backs. But it's not designed for your offensive linemen being able to run schemes and all of that. So I'm thinking that had a lot to do with it, the elements of the weather.
5th place out of the 6 was the South. That was Bahamas, Birmingham, and No Excuses. They went 3-9. The Heat were the only ones to really get to day 3, Bahamas too, my bad. No Excuses didn't make it. Good, decent showing to get teams there, but 3-9, not a good record for the South. What do you think it is? Because everybody says the best talent in football comes from the South. What is the South lacking right now when it comes to 9-man, though?
I feel like they're lacking coverage because, but that South Florida Flag Football Association, that league that No Excuses is a part of, and I think they start their season, I'm thinking, within the next couple of weeks. A lot of their stuff's on YouTube. So a lot of their streams, you have to catch them on YouTube. But Birmingham, like, still trying to find things. Skinny's trying to find out what league they're in. Bahamas, they've been around. It's just they're offshore. And they just need somebody to go over there and teach them the fundamentals. As far as the other 2 teams, it's just pretty much coverage so people can get y'all out there because I know they got players out there. You're in Alabama and in South Florida. There's nothing but ballers in those 2 states.
Facts.
They gotta know flag exists. Let me say it like that. That's probably the thing. Guys don't know it exists because you got guys from St. Louis that move all over and looking for a place to ball and probably don't know that there's a league going on. That's the same deal in Texas right now.
Yeah. Number 4 is the MAFL, Mid-Atlantic Flag Football League, one of the premier leagues usually here in the DMV. They're a little watered down this year due to COVID. But you had Blackhawks, Rideout, Rebels, Dream, and Petty. overall 10-10 this weekend for Maffle. You know, there's a lot of disappointment coming from their message boards right now. A lot of players a little upset about how this past Nationals went. Um, you know, it's a 500 record though for Maffle. Out of their teams, you know, Blackhawks made it to Sunday, Petty made it to Sunday, the Rebels made it to Sunday, Ride Out made it to Sunday. 4 teams in, but all 4 just one and done.
Hmm.
You know, before that, Maffle was doing really well. I mean, they were 10-6 entering Sunday. They had a pretty good showing, but not a good finish for Maffle. You know, I feel like they'll bounce back. Maffle's a tough league. You can't really count them out. COVID hit them hard this year.
I was about to say that they more had a COVID problem just on because I was reading a lot of their stuff in their on their page, and the fields, like if we go to the field and practice, they kicking us off. So it's like they had a practice problem, like not being able to practice and trying to like sneak on the field without getting caught, you know, which I know everybody across 9-man been probably dealing with that, especially in the Northeast regions. Even here, before our season
had to
started.
start a bubble of our own here in the 4th state.
Oh, yeah, man.
So next up, OMFFL, they went 10-9-2. They had Renegades, Titans, FOE, AFN, Rampage. 4 of them made it to day 3. 2 of them got to the semis. Pretty good performance from the OMFFL this past weekend. They showed why they're one of the better leagues in the country. But in the end, you know, didn't get to the chip. But it's tough, man. They show, though, they can still compete. Albeit the record 10-9-2, about 500. The 2 ties, of course, coming with the 2 games mentioned earlier. But, you know, I feel like OMFFL, they are the best in the DMV. But if you look at the results, it's close right now. I think Maffle's not that far off. We'll see what happens this upcoming season when those 2 leagues start play again.
Yeah, I like that that intra-league play. I like that.
I think that's legit, man. That is absolutely legit. Number 2, St. Louis. They went 11-6-1. Kind of weird to think. St. Louis got to the championship. They had 2 teams make day 3. Both of them got there. Second best record overall, but a great performance from the Lou. I think St. Louis 9-man needs to start getting the recognition it deserves as one of the best leagues in the country. We talk about GCFFA. We talk about OMFFL. We talk about Maffle. But St. Louis 9-man needs to be put on that level. Definitely. I think right now they are on that level.
Mainly, it took for us to win this national title to really, like, we had the recognition, but it took for the national title to really propel us to the next level. So, you know, I'm really glad to be a part of it. And, hey, we're going to keep on coming.
And we look forward to seeing what you guys could do these next upcoming years. Finally, number 1, it was the tri-state area, actually, 11-4-1. Nomads didn't make it, but Blazers did. You know.
That makes sense out of that region. That makes sense just because of
record-wise.
Those guys play.
Actually 11-4-1.
Huh.
Yeah, out of they you know, you had Blazers make it, you had Baez make it.
Everybody was playing. That was the thing. Yeah. Everybody was playing some type of ball.
Ducks even made it too. Had the Ducks in there as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Ducks made it. Okay.
But despite that, you know, entering the quarterfinals, that region was 11-1-1. They had a great weekend, but all 3 of their teams crashed before they got to the semis.
All right.
Just great weekend leading up, disappointing ending for the tri-state.
Yep, because of the Lou. But Overall, though, man, the tri-state region, they're one of the, you know, could I say forefathers of nine-man flag? Just because they play so many different styles or whatever. So, those guys are always playing up there. Despite the weather, like, I guess they got more resources.
A lot of indoor facilities up there in the north. So moving on now, we're going to hit the power rankings. We were supposed to have people on, but nobody has kind of volunteered. So this will be a wrap up for the power rankings, and we'll move on for tonight. So new B power rankings, number 10, Elite Rebels. Like I said, they're getting there, man. Holston and company, they know what they're doing. They got some ballers. They got a lot of potential, a lot of promise. Looking forward to see what they do going forward. Number 9, Ride Out. This was a disappointing weekend, but they're still one of the better B teams out there. You can't count them out. They're still one of the best. Number 8, Maryland Titans. Doc really adds a lot to that team. Some will call out his age, but he can still kick your ass. Number 7, Baez Auto. They got it going, but back-to-back years, they get to the quarters, fall short there. Just not, Baez, they're getting there. They got a lot of hope potential. Look forward to seeing where they go.
They got to stay together. They definitely got to stay together.
Big facts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 6 was the Ducks. Ducks had a good showing. Just fell short against the Gades. We'll see what happens with them going forward. Looking forward to seeing them. Number 5, Blazers. The best team to fall short of the semis was the Blazers. Like, this was an A team. In my opinion, they're still top 5 in this B, though. They're still top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to seeing what Rob does with them the rest of the circuit year. Number 4, Renegades. I got number 3, Rampage. 2, I got St. Louis Spartans. And number 1, of course, NTB Wolfpack. Shout out St. Louis. Big props to you. You all made it. Thank you once again, Preston, for coming on tonight. Love the work you do over there. Real deal. Shout out to St. Louis 9-man. Shout out Real Deal Sports. Thank you once again, Preston. For Preston and Ross Collins, I'm Joey Blaze. You have a wonderful night.
I appreciate it, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, Preston.
All right.
Have a good